Have you ever been bitten by the passion bug? Yes. I have, and it happened right after college. It was running, and it was a way for me to just start getting exercise and meet new friends. It quickly became a part of my life. I set a goal a few years after to run the Twin Cities Marathon. Now, that's 26.2 miles. Had no idea how to get started, so I bought a book. And ended up a few months later crossing the finish line, and it was pure joy. The phases of life came and went: family, children, work. And with those phases came a lot of change. Some were tiny, I could control it. Others were big and hairy, and I didn't know what to do. But through it all, I had running. It kept me sane, relieved my stress, shifted my mood if I needed it, and it kept me balanced. It connected me with dear friends, and it allowed me to have fun along the way. But during this time, I was keeping a little secret. What about running the Boston Marathon? I don't know, that's the mother of marathons. I mean, you gotta be fast, you gotta be serious, and I can't do that. I can't. But could I? The answer came to me from an unexpected place: work. See, I was laid off. And after months of a job search of waiting and waiting and waiting, I needed some sense of control back in my life. So I turned to running and my little secret, and I dusted it off and said, yes, I can get to Boston. Now, what does that mean, getting to Boston? What does that entitle me to do? Well, first off, you have to pass through a couple gates. Gate 1, you have to get a qualifying time. So within your age group and gender, there's a certain time you have to run a marathon. Gate 2, you have to apply and get accepted. There's only a certain number of spots they have open for the fast runners to get in. Now, a few fun facts about Boston. It is always in April on Patriots Day, and it runs the same legendary course of 26.2 miles, famous for Heartbreak Hill, which comes at mile 20, and the famous Sitco sign, which is the 1 mile marker left for runners to let them know they're on their way. So 15 years after running the Twin Cities Marathon, I was back to try and get to Boston. Gate 1, I got my time. Gate 2, I got in! I let the training begin. So I run outside in Minnesota during the winter. And for those of you that live here, it's snowstorms, it's icy roads, it is cold, it is rainy, it is winter. But through it all, I was ready and confident. My husband and I, 2 days before the marathon, flew out to Boston to soak up the city, and we met runners from around the world. We mingled along the Charles River, we walked the Freedom Trail, we ate awesome Italian food in the North End. And the day race came, I boarded a bus at 5:30 in the morning, and myself, along with 30,000 other runners, were taken to Hopkinton, Massachusetts, to the starting line. Butterflies were going, and I was trying not to pee my pants during this ride out there. We get to Hopkinton, and I had to wait 4 hours before they called my wave of runners. It was a beautiful day, the sun was out, and by the time they called my wave, I started to the starting line, and I looked out, crested a hill, and saw a mass of humanity. I mean, people fricking going for it. And I soaked it all up. I mean, on the left-hand side, there was a motorcycle bar cranking AC/DC music. Little kids had red wagons handing out popsicles to the runners, and it was awesome. By now, it was early afternoon, and it was hot. The sun was beating down on the road, and the heat was radiating up off the pavement. Runners around me were starting to walk, and my mind said, quit. You can't do this. But wait, I ran in 10 below icy snowstorms with icicles glued to my eyelashes. Go. I ran up and down the hills of Egan so many times my legs felt like cement. Go. I look up, and there it was, the Sitco sign. I have 1 mile left. Go. One last turn on Boylston Street, and it is a ticker tape parade. People are screaming, but I could just look at one thing: finishing. And I did it. I stopped. Thank you. So I stopped and I started crying. And a volunteer came up to me, ma'am, are you okay? It was so hard, and I couldn't do it, and I wanted to stop, and my passion for running got me to Boston. What's your little secret? What do you have in your head that's saying, I can't? I want you to answer that little question and that secret, and for you to say absolutely, yes, I can. Thank you.